Thank you again. First of all, I want to apologize for giving such a brief rundown of the First World War, but I did not want to monopolize too much time. It could have become a lecture. I did not mean to say, do not misunderstand me, I do not mean to say that wars start by accident. What I was meaning to say, what I want to say, is if everything else is in place, if all the armaments are in place, then a small incident can trigger a major war. And this is what happened in 1914. All the major powers had armed for decades, prepared for this war. Everything was ready for this war, and then an incident which normally would not lead to war suddenly led to war. The assassination of Archduke Ferdinand, well, normally that's a case for police action. That's what the police is for, to intervene when somebody is assassinated. How did it suddenly explode into a major war? That's what I wanted to say. And I think we are presently in a similar situation, that the preparations for warfare are in place. Let's not underestimate the readiness of some powers to start something. So it could only take a small incident to trigger a new war. That's what I wanted to say. Let me just say a few words. What can we do? What can we do to prevent the new war? All of us. And let me give you four basic points what we can do to prevent this calamity of a new warfare. First of all, I think we have to seek for the truth. We have to break through the media disinformation campaign, the disinformation war which is going on in this world. We have to break through the concerted brainwashing, the abuse of the media precisely for stultifying people. We are to an extent stultified by the media, by radio, by television, by the internet. This is where the new media can really have a disastrous effect. We have to break through this media manipulation, the disinformation warfare, and we have to search for the truth. It may not be very easy, it may be very, very difficult. I invoked previously the legacy of Plato. One of the great ideas is truth. We have to find the truth, and even if it is very hard, and in the present disinformation campaign, it will be very difficult to find out the truth, to sort out the truth from the falsehood. So that's the first thing we all need to do, to seek the truth and to wage our own battle against this kind of disinformation campaign. Secondly, I think we should aim our efforts at disarmament. I said armaments are already in place. It only needs something to trigger, to put this armament to use. We need again to have a campaign for disarmament. I just learned recently, just before I left for Rhodes, that Washington has again allocated $1 trillion for the renovation of the nuclear arsenal in the United States. $1 trillion for the renovation of nuclear arsenal. Now, this is not a peaceful action. That is readying yourself for the worst, for warfare. So we need to have a campaign for disarmament, a very active campaign of disarmament, and especially nuclear disarmament. We have to break through the nuclear arms race. And there have been some proposals which I think we should endorse as a World Public Forum. We should endorse. There should be some nuclear-free zones. And it has especially been proposed for the Middle East. There should be a nuclear-free zone where none of the powers, none, should be allowed to have nuclear weapons. So this would be a step in the direction away from warfare, away from the arms race. there should be also a nuclear freeze. The third, so this was the second point. The third point is we should choose diligently, we should choose wise leaders. Now we have previously talked whether we should choose strong leaders. I'm all for choosing strong leaders, but strong leaders who are also wise, prudent, who use their power prudently. I think this is one of the most important things. Leaders who are not impulsive, leaders who are reflective, leaders who are willing to engage in dialogue, not only in talking, but in learning from others. So these kinds of leaders we need to choose, prudent leaders, intelligent leaders, leaders who have brains and who can analyze the situation, leaders who engage as a last resort in military warfare and as a first resort in diplomacy and negotiations and peacemaking. Fourth, last but not least, we need to choose wise people. That means we have to become ourselves wise people. Some people have said, not incorrectly, have said that if you want peace, you have to be the peace that you want to bring. We have to be the peace to bring peace. We cannot make peace in the world if we are not peaceful. So we have to pacify ourselves first of all. And this, of course, we do by adhering to the great principles that religions and spirituality have bequeathed to us. I invoked at another point the Gandhian principles of ahimsa, non-violence, satyagraha, that means struggle for justice, struggle for truth. These are the principles which pacify us as human beings. And then also as human beings, we should join movements which aim at this kind of pacification, of choosing wise people. We should join peace movements, be active in peace movement, be active in ecological movements, be active in the Youth Forum, be active in the World Public Forum. These are all the agencies that are moving us forward toward a peaceful world. That means a movement toward what I previously called a culture of non-violence, against the culture of violence in which we live presently, to moving toward a culture of non-violence. So this means that we have to participate, all of us, in this struggle for a better world. It may be very distant. It may be a utopia, what some people call a utopia. But it's a utopia which brings us peace and life. It's the only utopia worth living for, because the alternative is universal destruction. There's not something to live for. So these are the 4 points I wanted to communicate to you, at least in brevity at this point. What we can do in order not to repeat 1914. I thank you very much for your attention.